Okay, from the last video, I know you already did those problems, the practice ones, but I want you to try them again. See if you still know them without looking at your answers. Okay, this next one, I didn't see it in pre-cal, but this one's an average rate of change. Well, probably saw it, but didn't teach it this way. Okay, it's like a similar like concept is like the velocity equals the rate of change over unit of time. So you're gonna study this a lot more in calculus, apparently. In calculus, you will study instantaneous rates of change of function at different values of x. Okay. So they use this investment graph kind of thing of a company. Alright. The value of an investment over 10 years. The first year is $1,000, and then the last year is the 10th year. Well, I don't know if it's the last year, but like the 10th year, there's 2,845. And then this lists from all the gains and losses of last year's and so on. Right. So question 1 says, how much did the stock increase per year on average from beginning of year 3 through the beginning of year 6? Okay, so year 3 to year 6. So at year 3, it was 1162. Year 6, 1252. That's what they did here. They just subtracted 1252 minus 1162 over 6 minus 3. So it's kind of like this thing right here, where it's not really distance, it's like the money, and then over time, so the times at the bottom, 6 minus 3, yeah, so over 3 years, and then they subtracted the final minus the original, so final was the 6, the original was the 3, so 1162, okay, and then that gets them to 90 over 3, so that's 30 per year. So the average rate of change from 1 year to another is $30 a year. Next is number 2 was, what was the average annual loss from the beginning of year 2 to the beginning of year 5? Okay, so you do the money first. So year 5, 1190. And then year 2 was 1205. When you subtract 1190, the new one from the original, you get negative 15, and then the year is on the bottom. 5 minus 2 is 3, and then you divide negative 15 by 3, you get negative 5 per year. I mean, it just shows there's a loss of money between those years, not gaining. And then so it's the same thing for the number 3. So you probably seen it, like you want to see like how the equation for the average rate of change work. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's basically what we did up here. So the year was the x's, and the values, the money, was the y. So y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Divide it out, and you get the average rate of change. And then, so what happens? They just give you points on a graph like this. You know, they want you to tell them what the average rate of change would be. Okay, so in the example over here, for the points -3, 9 and -1, 3. So these are the 2 points. They want you to find the average rate of change for these 2 points. Okay, well, this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. You just plug them into these equations. So y2 minus y1. 3 minus 9, -6. And then x2 minus x1. Well, x2 is -1. x1 is -3. -1 minus -3. The two negatives become positive. So -1 plus 3 equals 2. -6 divided by 2 is -3. That's your -3 is your average rate of change between these 2 points. Yeah. Of the function. So right here, another problem is they tell you find the average rate of change of f of x equals -3x squared plus 10 between x equals -1 and x equals 2. So, okay, you have your, this is your x1, this is your x2. So you already have the x's. So right here, x2 minus x1, 2 minus x1, -1 is 3. You can usually tell like which one is x1 or which one is x2 by how it, which one comes first. They told this one came first, so it's this one, and then this one's second. Usually that's how you'll tell it. Then usually that's how they'll put it, you know. Or, well, as the pattern sees, since the graph goes from left to right, usually the points nearest to the right is the second one. But just go to, they'll usually put it out for you. So this came first, that's x1. This came second, that's x2. That's all. And then, so x equals -1. So you want to find the y values for these. So plug in -1 for x over here. So -1 squared is 1. 3 times -3 times 1 is -3. -3 plus 10, 7. That's what they did here. You do the same thing for x equals 2. Plug it in for x over here. 2 squared is 4. 4 times -3 is -12. -12 plus 10 is -2. Okay, so now you have your y1 is 7, y2 is -2. Plug it in over here, and then solve it. That's all it is for rate of change. Okay, now we'll have your practice.